Hi friends, welcome back. It is finally time, and I'm going to show you my trip to Ireland. So I went with my mom and my sister-in-law. It was for my mom's birthday, and we made it a fabulous little girls trip. It's about a week long. I think we had 6 full days that we were there. It was so fun. I honestly can't tell you what was my favorite thing because everything was so much fun and everything was so beautiful. It was an absolute blast. If you ever get a chance to go on a girls' trip to the countryside of Ireland, highly, highly recommend. I have a ton of videos, so I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. I will do a little bit of voiceover throughout just to give you guys a little bit of context of what you're looking at. And yeah, this is going to be really fun. It is a long one, but sit back, relax, and let's go see Ireland. When you land in Dublin, you actually land a little ways outside the city. I think that's pretty common in a lot of different places. I'm super used to my hometown where the airport is actually it's in the city, so it's not like you have to really travel to get much of anywhere inside the city, but I believe it's like a 20-minute, half an hour bus ride into the city. Super convenient, not at all difficult to do. They have a bunch of different bus stops right along the Liffey. They have several that are like in the city as well. Makes it super convenient for getting wherever you need to go. So when we landed in Dublin, it was actually my mom's birthday, which was the whole reason for this trip. And so we had kind of let her pick basically what she wanted to do for this particular day. I mean, realistically, we let her pick everything for the trip, but this day in particular, we wanted to make sure we got in as much of the stuff that she wanted to do as possible. So we got off the bus, we walked around town a little bit. I tried to just get a few shots from the just walking around of the town. We did go to a creperie for lunch, and then we went to get donuts. We went to St. Stephen's Green to eat those donuts. And all in all, we walked so much, you guys, so much. And we had decided to make this just a backpack trip, so we don't have any roller luggage, we don't have really any carry-ons or anything, we just have our backpacks. They're each about 20 to 25 pounds. I packed very well. I had my purse and everything was in my backpack. We were not really planning on walking as much as we did on this first day, but we still had a lot of fun. By the end of the day, our feet were just absolutely done. But like I said, we went and got donuts. Best donuts I've ever had in my life. They were all filled donuts and they were incredible. Highly recommend if you're in Dublin, stop and get a donut because they're so good. So the last time that we were in Dublin, we went to St. Stephen's Green. We actually spent a decent amount of time in St. Stephen's Green. So it was one of the places that Mom and I really wanted to make sure that we got back to see. So we did spend a decent amount of time just hanging out, having our donuts, and just people watching, bird watching, just enjoying the scenery, and honestly just soaking in the fact that we were in Dublin. I don't know, it's one of those things that's just, especially if you haven't been outside the country in a while, when you finally get there, it does take a minute to really sink in. So after St. Stephen's, we took the longest walk of our lives to the train station. We took the train down to Cork, and we stayed in Cork for one night. We went and got fish and chips that first night. We had talked about doing some other stuff, but by the end of our fish and chip dinner, we were honestly just exhausted and ready to sleep. Day 2, we started out by walking around Cork a little bit. We went to a really cute place that I honestly can't remember the name of. I'm hoping that I show it in this video. And we went and got Turkish tea and these really, really good pastries for breakfast. One of the things that was at the tippity top of my mom's bucket list of things she wanted to do in Ireland this time was to go to the English market in Cork. So that was really kind of the main reason why we went to Cork at all. So I have a lot of footage from the English market. We spent a decent amount of time here, and our big plan, so we were not going to be staying in Cork for long, like I mentioned. We were mostly going to be staying in Kenmare, but we were renting a full house. So our plan was to pick up a bunch of snacks and like some cheeses and some cured meats and some crackers and some bread and stuff that we could munch on for the entire trip, and to just get everything, or the majority of everything, from the English market here. So we went and got tea. We were able to get a bottle of kefir water that I think was like cucumber, lime, and mint or something like that. It was delicious. They have this super expansive seafood section that my mom and I were super interested in, but my sister-in-law does not really like fish, so we were kind of keeping her out of that section, which is fine. We love you. And from there, once we had made all of our purchases, we actually ended up purchasing a couple of reusable shopping bags, which came in handy for the rest of the trip. But then we started just walking around Cork and just kind of exploring a little bit, seeing some of the cool cathedrals. We went to a fort, and we went and got lunch, and from there we did go and picked up our bags from the hotel that we had stayed at, and then went and got the rental car. This was also just a really long day. We really packed a lot into this trip. I'm actually really proud of us for the amount of stuff that we were able to pack in, and honestly not feel too exhausted. I thought with the amount that we did, it would just be completely exhausting, but honestly, it was just, we were having so much fun that rather than it being exhausting, it was more like, well, what are we going to do next? What are we going to see next? This is so much fun. I wonder if we can get to see this or this or this. And it was just, honestly, we fit the majority of the things that we wanted to see. We were able to fit into this trip. And it was just, this was just peak travel for me. This was fabulous. We had an absolute blast. Cork is so pretty. I think if we had had a little bit more time on the trip, it would have been fun to spend a little bit more time here. But we wanted to see a little bit more stuff along the coast, so we made the decision to not stay in Cork. And my sister-in-law was an absolute trooper, and we rented a car and she drove down to, on this day, we went to Muckross Abbey, which is absolutely gorgeous. You'll see shots of it later. It is the ruins of an abbey, and there is a yew tree growing in the middle of it. I'm sure that a lot of you have seen footage of Muckross before, but I can tell you it is so much prettier in person than anything you'll ever see online. The drive was interesting, to say the least. I highly recommend, if you are going to drive in Ireland, if you're from the US, make sure that you have 2 people in the front seat who are reasonably comfortable with driving, so that you can have one person driving and one person being the spotter. By the end of the trip, Julie was doing such a good job, I didn't really need to watch as closely, but day 1 and 2 were a challenge. There are very narrow country roads and not a lot of room. So that was a challenge. It was very interesting, but we had a really good time. Julie, again, was an absolute trooper, and she did incredibly well at driving. And at this point, I feel like I could probably drive the next time I go. I think if you have driven or even ridden off-road, you'd probably be fine. It's a lot. It's very similar in my mind to some of the situations that you can wind up in when you're kind of driving off-road. So here's where we're getting into Muckross. It is so pretty. I believe a decent part of my footage from this day is just going to be from Muckross, and honestly, I'm just going to let you enjoy it because I had a blast looking at all of this. There were hardly any other people here. We really had the space to ourselves for the most part, so I got a lot of cool footage. Check it out. next morning, we got up super bright and early, and this first bit of footage that you'll see is in Kenmare, and we went to a patisserie and got, I believe, at the very least, Mom got coffee. Otherwise, we got pastries and had some breakfast, and our whole plan for this day was that we wanted to do the Gap of Dunlow, and then we wanted to do the Ring of Kerry. And we had read from the majority of people that you should not drive the Gap of Dunlow, but we figured if we did it first thing in the morning before any of the tours get there, and if we did it backwards, so not in the direction that the tours go, that we should be fine. And we were. It was great. Some of the roads were a little bit windy and tight and weird, but we really only had one incident where we had to back up to get to the nearest little pull off the side of the road thing, and we actually had a backup camera in the car, which really came in clutch. Julie said it was a little bit like playing Mario Kart. You just had to stay in the lanes, stay in the little lines on the backup camera. So that did very well, super helpful. So these first shots that you'll be seeing from like scenery is on the way to the Gap of Dunlow. We had actually watched a video of, I think it was a couple of Irish people who just hadn't done a lot of the touristy things. So they were taking a van through some places like the Gap, and they had shown to go through it backwards in this direction. So we thought we would follow their advice because that just seemed like it was going to be easier for the rest of the stuff that we wanted to do on this day. So that's what we ended up doing. We stopped at this little river with this little tiny waterfall. The only thing that was a little bit sad is that because we did go in April, it was not quite as vivid green as most of the pictures that you see of the Gap of Dunlow. But honestly, this is still absolutely gorgeous, even with just the little early showings of spring green. It was still so beautiful. It was very windy, but we had an absolute blast. Everything was gorgeous. It was so fun to get to drive through some of these areas and get to see some of the stuff that's, it's a little bit more touristy, but getting to see it in a not as touristy fashion. I know Julie was a little sad that she didn't see quite as much of it because she was driving. So I think next time, if we ever do this again, I would either suggest that we like trade off on who's driving, or just not make Julie drive this one at all. But again, this is considered one of the harder roads to do in Ireland, and honestly, she did so well. We did get to go see the Wishing Bridge. There's actually two of them on in this pass, and I believe we stopped at both. I don't remember for sure. We might have only stopped at one, but there were some goats on the side of the road, up in the hills a little bit. Just incredible views. Very windy, but honestly not that cold, which was nice. And we so enjoyed every little bit of this. I basically just tried to get as much footage as I possibly could so that I could remember everything that we saw. It's just gorgeous seeing all of the rock and all of the green, even though it's not in full green yet. Absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend doing the Gap of Dunlow if you're not confident doing a drive like this, because again, this tiny road that we're on is a 1-lane, 2-way road. So if you're not a confident driver, then I would highly recommend just taking a tour through this. But I do recommend doing it. It is absolutely beautiful. After the Gap of Dunlow, we made our way around the Ring of Kerry. We had talked about doing the Cliffs of Moher, but my mom had looked at the Cliffs of Kerry, and they're just a little bit more interesting than the Cliffs of Moher. So we had all decided that we would rather do the Cliffs of Kerry over the Cliffs of Moher. So we did the Ring of Kerry. When we got to the Cliffs of Kerry, I got a little bit of footage, and then unfortunately, my battery died. So I don't have a ton of footage from the rest of this day, but I did get a lot from the Gap of Dunloe, which makes me very happy because this was one of the things that I really wanted to see, and I did get a considerable amount of footage from from the Cliffs of Kerry. I apologize. So I think that you'll really enjoy when we get to there as well. And yeah, I'm going to let you enjoy these views, and I'll pop back in when we get to the next day. So the next day, we actually decided to do the Ring of Beara, which is not as well known as the Ring of Kerry. The Beara Peninsula is the one directly south of the Kerry Peninsula, and it was one of the places that was really highly recommended online as a really scenic, really more rural place to visit. And we had also ended up booking a boat tour that was going to be departing from the Beara Peninsula. So it just kind of made sense for us to take a day and do the Ring of Beara. So I also have a lot of footage from this day. This was honestly, I think, my favorite day, which is really difficult to say because thinking back on this whole trip, we have had, all three of us, an insanely difficult time even remotely pinpointing what our favorite part of the trip was. My favorite view might have been the cliffs of Kerry. My favorite day might have been this one. But again, everything was so much fun. Everything was far and above what I had ever imagined or expected from this trip. So it's just been really cool to look back on it and think about all the amazing and fun things that we did. So this particular day, we decided to set out for the Beara Peninsula and go find a stone circle. It was one of the things that Julie and I had both really wanted to do. We wanted to see a stone circle. And this one is incredible. It was an absolutely beautiful day. And just walking over this hill to see this massive stone in a stone circle, it was so cool. It was breathtakingly beautiful. The little bit of fog in the mountains, the birds were singing so beautifully on this day. We were only supposed to be here for, I think, 20 minutes, and we ended up staying for, I think, about an hour because it was so pretty. Honestly, none of us could get enough. It just kind of drew you in as this really gorgeous, mysterious stone circle. I really love British mythology. I really love mythology in general. So getting to see one of these really ancient stone circles in person was just really, really cool. And I think that's one of the reasons why I might classify this day as my favorite. The boat tour would be the other thing that maybe push it over the edge toward being the favorite day. It was so cool to see all of this. And then to get to continue the drive, we went and did the Healy Pass, which was, in my opinion, and I think in Julie's as well, I'm not sure how Mom felt, but me and Julie definitely thought that the Healy Pass was a lot prettier than the Gap of Dunloe, and also just an easier drive in general. It was nowhere near as difficult as the Gap, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Highly, highly recommend if you're going to be in this area. This stone circle was absolutely incredible, and again, I think there was one other couple that was here, and they were leaving around the time we got here. So most of the time on the Beara Peninsula, we just had the space to ourselves. It was really nice to not really feel like you're in a herd of tourists. As much as I love going to other places and getting to see all the touristy things, I don't love being a tourist. I really try hard to not fit into that tourist stereotype, especially the loud, obnoxious American tourist stereotype. So, and my whole family has that. So we're very respectful. We're kind of quiet and we're just doing our thing. These shots now are from Healy Pass, and it was greener than the Gap of Dunlow, and maybe that was part of why it was prettier, but I don't know, I just thought having their beautiful open spaces here are just absolutely gorgeous. Highly, highly recommend. Again, if you're planning a trip to Ireland, definitely do the Beara Peninsula. The next thing that we did was a boat tour, and we got to see Calf Rock, Cow Rock, and Bull Rock, and we got to watch the cable car go over to one of the islands, which was really fun. Our tour guide was very nice. I tried to get everything that he said on video, but like the rest of the audio is such a mess that I couldn't even add it into this video. So you'll get to see some shots from the tour, but I really couldn't clean up the rest of it. I don't think I mentioned yet that it is lambing season at the time that we were there. So there were lambs everywhere, and they're so cute. We had on this day, I think it was after leaving the stone circle, there were a couple of lambs and their mom that were blocking the road, and we ended up having to honk at them. They did not want to leave, but they were so adorable. It was so much fun to see these tiny little lambs just living their best life out in the grass. And so here we're going to get into the videos from the boat tour. We were hoping to see some more ocean animals while we were out there. We did see a couple of seals. Mom and Julie saw a puffin. I did not see the puffin, sadly, so I still have not seen a puffin in person. This is not okay, you guys. Kind of not okay with that. But the tour was so fun. I would definitely do it again. It was a blast. The people we were on the tour with were also very nice. So again, there's nothing about this trip that I can't recommend. It was incredible. It was so interesting to get to hear the history of some of these places and to get to really see with your own eyes some of the stuff that you've only ever seen online. So again, I'm going to shut up and I'll let you guys enjoy the views. After the boat tour, we went back into Kenmare and just did a little bit of looking around in the city. And this is, I believe it was Cromwell's Bridge, which was just really cool to get to see. It's just really cool in general. I know it's a bridge, but how do you go over that bridge? So it was really interesting. We had gotten back in time to have a nice dinner and just walk around a little bit and just kind of enjoy. This was going to be our last day in this area, so we did try to savor it a little bit and just get to look around some more and enjoy just the area in general. I had a couple of friends who had asked that I bring them back a rock from Ireland. And then Julie's parents or I guess Julie's mom is a geologist or something of the like. So she always wants rocks as well. So Julie and I were sifting through and finding cool rocks. Mom found a bone of some kind on the beach. I found a giant shard of obsidian, so that was kind of cool. I know I have obsidian at home, but just kind of fun. This was our Airbnb that we stayed in. It was a really lovely, very quiet location. This was all supposed to be water. We don't really know why there wasn't any water in it, but it was still a really nice place to stay. I would definitely stay there again if I ever go again. And the next day we were back in Dublin. We went to the museum. I have a coworker who is actually from Ireland and had moved back to Ireland last year in 25. So I guess he's a former coworker. But we were able to meet up with him, and he told us some really cool facts about the city, which was fun to get to hear. We had a couple of interesting things. We kept running into Christchurch Cathedral, which was funny because the last time my mom and I were in Dublin, we had such a hard time finding Christchurch, and then this time it was like all roads led to Christchurch. So that was pretty amusing. We got to spend one full day in Dublin. We went and got afternoon tea. I don't remember what the restaurant is called, but we went and got a spice bag at this Chinese place. It was like fried chicken and fries and some vegetables with some super delicious seasonings. And honestly, this trip had some of the best views and some of the best food I've ever had in my entire life. I think that was the best afternoon tea I've ever had, and I love afternoon tea. I've gotten a lot of afternoon teas. So it was honestly just an incredible trip to go on. It was a really beautiful and really fun way to celebrate my mom and celebrate her birthday and just get to do something fun, just us girls. I guess some people were kind of picking on my brother because it was a trip for my mom, but he wasn't going on it, like a trip for my mom for her birthday, but it was me, mom, and my brother's wife, Julie. But honestly, I think it's so special that the three of us get along so well and could really enjoy having this time together. In our time in Dublin, we stayed here right next to those 3 green lines. It was a really nice place to stay. We went and saw Temple Bar at night, just walking around the city and remembering how much fun Mom and I had the last time that we were in Dublin. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip. We got to see, honestly, all of the things that we really wanted to see. We had kind of put together lists of the things that each of us super wanted to see, and we made sure that we got to see everything. I think there was one place that got knocked off the list, but I didn't miss it, and I don't really think that any of us did in the long run. I think that we just kind of look at it as a place that we can get to see the next time we go. And that's really fun too. It's really fun to have a list of places that you can get to go the next time that you're there, because that means you're going to go again. And I think that makes it really special and really fun. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this whole video. I honestly really hope that you've enjoyed seeing all the pretty views and everything. It was, again, just a really special trip, and it was so much fun. I honestly cannot wait to do it again. I would go with the same girls and everything. We had an absolute blast. It was incredible. I'm so thrilled that we got to do this, that we got to celebrate my mom for her birthday, because my mom is really special and I love her to bits. I'm gonna cry talking about her, apparently. Mom, I'm sure you're gonna watch this video. I love you. I'm glad we got to do this trip, and happy birthday. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in a couple weeks with something that is a little more art related. I promise. Thanks, guys. Bye.